In a creepy realm beyond our everyday life, eight-legged freaks rule. They thrive in the tropical jungle, the desert wastelands, and even underwater. Some are carnivorous giants that rise from the earth. Others are equipped with an arsenal of weapons. There are accomplished acrobats, web slingers. Some walk on water and even fly. And deep in the Amazon lives a Goliath that overshadows them all. The biggest spider on the face of the planet. These are nature's incredible spiders. Arachnids across the globe have evolved unique ways of surviving the most extreme environments. The Kalahari Desert is one such place. Only the toughest creatures make it here. The solifuge, or sun spider, is like nothing you've seen before. It's a hunter, a tracker, and a killer, all rolled into one. Long, sensitive hairs detect the slightest movement in the air from potential prey. While strange sensory cups on its underside press against the ground like tiny ears to pick up minute vibrations. Its enormous, chainsaw-like mandibles can crush an armor-plated scorpion. But it's the sticky fingertips that make it really impressive. At the tip of each front appendage is a unique organ. This hairless suction device uses pressure to catch and hold on to prey. Once it snatches with these suckers, little escapes. The solifuge is seldom seen out in the day. But it's the dry season, and this predator must risk the heat to find food. It can be a highly mobile hunter. But it can also set the ultimate ambush. Its legs stick like glue. The solifuge needs to make the most of this grasshopper buffet. It's a brutal technique. Not pretty, but it works. The prey is doomed. Time for its enormous jaws to kick into action. Like a hydraulic mincer, turning the prey into a digestible mush. With its belly now full, the solifuge must escape the blistering heat. Now it reveals another use for its monstrous jaws. It lifts 50 times its body weight in sand to excavate a burrow. Finally, out of the heat, the solifuge will hide from the sun until nightfall, when the hunting begins again. For every prey species that exists, there's a spider that's specially built to hunt it. While the solifuge has sticky feet to snatch its prey out of the air, another incredible spider uses a wildly different technique. Deep in this forest lives a small but deadly hunter. The jumping spider is an agile predator. Most species spin a web to catch prey, but this predator has a more direct approach. Its jumping ability and its eyesight sets it apart. It's capable of jumping 30 times its own body length. That's the equivalent of a human jumping over half the length of a football field. It's so powerful that, like a bungee jumper, it needs to lay a safety line to stop it from overshooting its mark. By contracting muscles, fluid is pushed into the spider's legs. Like a hydraulic piston, the change in pressure causes the legs to extend rapidly, flicking the spider into the air. This hungry female is on the prowl. To keep track of her fast-moving prey, the jumping spider's 8 eyes are optimized for hunting. Her enormous forward-facing pair judge distance, while her side and rear eyes see movement, giving her 360-degree vision. A dead gecko is attracting flies. The drones try to scare her off, but she's not budging. Sometimes things just don't go according to plan. She's so small, the breeze is blowing her off course. She must recalculate wind direction and distance. Dagger-like fangs hook into the fly, while the quick-acting venom gets to work. Spiders are specialized hunters, filling every niche in almost all environments. Some may pounce on their prey like leopards, but the next one uses a throw net to snag prey. This strange-looking spider is a sight to behold. Its enormous forward-facing eyes and skinny limbs make it look like a living, breathing skeleton. It has eyes like an owl for good reason. This predator will only hunt in the dead of night. This female finds a low-hanging twig to hunt from. She'll use a web to catch prey, but not in the traditional sense. She teases strands of silk into a woolly texture and weaves a net of highly elastic, non-sticky silk. She stationed herself 10 centimeters above the ground, above passing insects. She'll use the web as a net to sling over victims that scuttle below. It's pitch dark, so she taps her legs on the forest floor to measure the exact distance to the prey. Then, she stretches the web to 3 times its relaxed size. The wider she pulls the elastic threads, the more entangled her prey will become. The elastic silk tightens around the cricket. The more it struggles, the more entangled it becomes. Venomous strikes finally paralyze it. This cricket is taken care of, so the netcaster leaves to continue her night of hunting. Thanks to drifting landmasses and ocean winds, spiders have dominated every continent except for Antarctica. But they don't only live in forests and deserts. The incredible fishing spider thrives on water. This spiky-legged spider is the resident predator terror of fish ponds around the globe. Its many eyes, hairy mouthparts, and huge fangs may be impressive. But it's the legs that are truly amazing. This arachnid not only walks on water, it can read the underwater world with its legs. Tiny spikes detect vibrations on the water's surface. It can accurately judge where the movement is coming from, and even what prey item is causing it. A male lives in this section of the pond, and it's full of food. His back legs anchor him to the shore, while his supersensory feet get to work. Every little vibration is assessed. The fish was just out of reach. Walking on water is one thing, but this incredible spider can also breathe underwater. The hairs around the spider's abdomen create an air bubble. Its lungs look like the stacked pages of a book and draw oxygen from the bubble. This incredible adaptation allows the fishing spider to breathe underwater. The fish have been scared off, and now they're in the shallows. The fishing spider injects paralyzing venom into the fish, which slowly turns its insides into a nutritious soup. This prized catch will keep him satisfied for a day. Spiders are not only efficient predators, they're also among nature's most talented architects. Whether it's burrows, webs, or nets, constructing high-tech hunting devices is the name of the game. And few can rival the phenomenal web-building abilities of the golden orb. A common resident in tropical areas across the globe, the golden orb-weaving spider has spent over 160 million years perfecting its architectural skills. Its long legs with inward-pointing tips are responsible for weaving gigantic silk traps that gram for gram are stronger than steel. They're so strong that even small birds and bats have been caught in them. The glittering golden silk is what attracts prey. It's one of the natural world's most impressive structures. And its maker is not equipped with just one silk-producing gland, but 7. Each gland produces its own unique silk. They make tough silk to protect the eggs, a soft silk to wrap up their prey, and they can even produce a cabling silk for structural support. However, what's truly fascinating is how this silk is produced. It's stored as a liquid in each gland. As the spider contracts its muscles, it forces the liquid silk out through hundreds of tiny tubes. The muscular force turns the liquid into a solid silk strand. These individual strands twist and plait together to produce one super strong cord. The female builds the entire web on her own, while a potential mate hangs around to take advantage of any leftovers caught in her trap. But he's 10 times smaller than her. He must tread very carefully. The tips of her legs are connected to the strands that radiate in 8 different directions. Through vibration, she has a 360-degree radar over her entire web. The grasshopper's paralyzed with venom and wrapped alive in soft, preserving silk. She hangs each parcel at the center of the web with strong cementing silk. This meal will stay fresh for hours in its tomb-like casing. One by one, the spider wraps her prey alive in their gold coffins, while the male hangs on for the ride. The golden orb's complex web delivers every time. And an afternoon of feasting awaits. Spiders have colonized a diverse array of ecosystems around the planet, with only the sky and sea still out of their reach. But one incredible spider has ignored all the rules. It spends its entire life submerged. The diving bell spider is the only arachnid known to live exclusively underwater. It has no fins or gills. It doesn't need them. It builds its very own submarine air supply. This bubble is its lifeline, its homemade scuba tank. To construct the bubble, this male swims to the surface and pops its abdomen into the air. Like the fishing spider, the air bubble around his abdomen allows him to breathe through his book lungs. The spider shuttles several bubbles from the surface to create a large reservoir of air. It's an ingenious way to access a whole new hunting ground, which it now has all to itself. This is the spider's sanctuary, where it'll feed and rest. This collection of incredible spiders is full of surprising characters. The diving bell spider lives underwater, while the solifuge has sticky feet. But a bigger predator hunts from a secret lair beneath the African earth. This enormous arachnid has a leg span of over 10 centimeters and lives in an underground burrow for most of its life. It's shy and secretive by nature. But the baboon spider has a dark side. It gets its name from its enormous size, its hairy body, and the baboon-like pads at the end of each leg. And its many eyes operate like a built-in periscope surveying the surrounds of its burrow. What prey doesn't know is that its secretive hideout is wired for surveillance. When it's not hungry, the spider spins a seal at the entrance to its lair. This prevents falling prey from disturbing her beauty sleep. But when it's time to eat, the burrow becomes a high-tech booby trap. The entrance is lined with strands of silk that travel to the burrow, like tripwires. When a moving insect triggers the wires, vibrations are sent down the burrow, alerting the spider to a possible meal. She can distinguish between the vibrations of a pesky ant and a meaty cricket. A wire's been triggered. It's time to feed. The baboon spider is a calculating predator. Another tripwire has been triggered, and the opportunistic hunter returns to the surface. Many legs give off many vibrations. From straight out of the ground, the centipede meets a greater predator. Over 30 centimeters below the surface, the baboon returns to its solitary confinement to feast on its prey alive. Arachnids come in a variety of shapes and sizes. They're big and hairy, small and colorful, and some are completely camouflaged. But none look quite as strange as the whip spider. A flat body allows it to crawl into dark nooks and crannies. And its pincers can grow to twice the length of its body and are tipped with Wolverine-like claws. The whip spider doesn't have venom, so when it finds its prey, it grabs it with its pincers and simply impales it. This female doesn't just have to feed herself. She's got 16 newly hatched young that are hanging on for the bride. The mini whip spiders will live on her back until they develop their very own exoskeletons and pincers to feed themselves. After their first molt, the green sprouts turn into fully formed arachnids, equipped to take on the dark corners of the insect world. Some environments are incredibly harsh on spiders. One species is a desert specialist, able to make a living in the oldest desert on Earth. The golden wheel spider looks a lot like many others. But it's this one that has a unique acrobatic talent. In the ancient Namibian desert, it must deal with total exposure. A burrow beneath the boiling sand is its best chance of survival. The silk-lined bunker will extend over 30 centimeters down and protect the spider from the harsh desert sun. But it's not just the heat this spider's escaping from. This pompilid wasp is on the hunt for a golden wheel spider. It doesn't want to prey on it. It wants to lay a single egg inside it. This way, when its larva hatches, it will have a fresh dinner to feast on. The spider puts the finishing touches on its hideout, just in time. The wasp senses movement. wasp only needs to sting him once. The spider makes his getaway and reveals his trump card. By folding its legs into spokes, the spider turns into a wheel and rolls down the dune at 20 turns a second, leaving the wasp in the dust. This clever adaptation has given the golden wheel spider a helping hand in its desert environment. But it's not going to test its luck out in the open. No spider is at the top of the food chain, but even so, they are considered one of the most successful predators on the planet. The next incredible hunter is a nighttime specialist, all but disappearing during the day. Deep in the forest lives the strange-looking bark spider. It's practically invisible, only coming alive in the midnight hours. This female looks like just another knob on this branch. Her mate is a fraction of her size. Like the golden orb spider, he's a loyal but wary companion. When the sun dips, she begins spinning her deadly spiral trap. Like an old lady with 8 knitting needles, she furiously weaves her web of sticky cables. Spider silk is the strongest natural material on the planet. And the Darwin's bark spider in Madagascar is responsible for building the largest, toughest web of any spider on Earth. The bark spider stations herself at the center of the web. She too sees the world through vibrations. When the hunting's over, the bark spider clears up all traces of her presence. The looming sunrise quickens her efforts. After her night shift, the pair blend seamlessly into their branch, re-energizing themselves before their next night of hunting. Thanks to their scary appearance and predatory nature, spiders are a symbol of evil and danger in almost every country across the globe. In reality, very few spiders are a threat to humans, and bites are seldom fatal. But one of the few that you may want to get out of the way for is none other than the Black Widow. This infamous spider has conquered almost every continent and is named after her tendency to kill and eat her partner after mating. She's equipped with a lethal neurotoxic venom. And a threatening red hourglass on her abdomen is her trademark of danger. The Black Widow's venom is thought to be 15 times more potent than some rattlesnake species. But because she injects less of it, humans can survive her bite. And it's no wonder she has the reputation of a femme fatale. The female Black Widow comes with much larger fangs and venom glands than the male. This female hasn't eaten for weeks. She's had other things on her mind. She's just laid hundreds of eggs inside an incubated silk sac. Soon, hundreds of miniature spiders will enter the world to continue the Black Widow legacy. With her most important job complete, it's time to eat. She restrains the cricket with silk before paralyzing it with venom. Cells lining her venom glands produce her potent neurotoxic venom. These cells disintegrate to release a toxic concoction into the gland. When the widow strikes, muscles around the gland contract to force the venom out through hollow fangs. The venom shuts down the cricket's nervous system. But she doesn't eat her prey straight away. She stores it, letting the venom's additional digestive enzymes get to work while she continues to hunt. When it comes to females, there's a lot of competition in the animal kingdom, and males have to do something extra special to get noticed. The spider world is no different. The Black Widow male may get killed for doing what he's supposed to, but in Australia, another tiny male is walking the tightrope with his song and dance. Out of the sandy earth emerges a spider so small that 8 of them could fit in your thumbnail. The peacock spider is a type of jumping spider with a twist. These bachelors are on the search for females, and it leads them into enemy territory. There's only one female here. So once they've sized each other up, it's time to fight. Once the competition's been scared off, the hard work begins. Approaching a single lady is a risky business. She'll attack the intruding male if she's not in the mood to mate. So the male peacock spider has had to take his courtship efforts up a notch. He resorts to dance moves. Electric colors mesmerize the female. This is the spider world's very own bird of paradise. The dance seems to have worked. When it comes to peacock spider romance, all it takes to secure a female are good dance moves. The peacock spider's size might betray its feisty character, but on the opposite end of the earth, a true giant makes up for it. The biggest spider on the planet is both enormous and deadly. The Goliath bird-eating tarantula lives in Venezuela's remote Amazon and is as big as your dinner plate. This behemoth is the subject of myth and legend, with only a few having ever been seen in the wild. The Goliath is a feared spider for good reason. It has a leg span of almost 30 centimeters and weighs 170 grams. It's so big, it feasts on mice and even birds. Like the jumping spider, the Goliath is an ambush hunter, so it lays low in dark corners. But out in the jungle, even this giant has enemies. The Goliath isn't going to take a chance with this rodent. And its best form of defense is attack. When provoked, the Goliath brushes his abdomen, releasing thousands of hair-like bristles into the air. Thousands of mini harpoons fly towards the attacker. Each menacing bristle is sharply pointed, with hooked barbs on one end. The bristles hook into the enemy's flesh, causing severe pain and itching. With the threat warned off, the Goliath can get back to hunting. When the day draws to an end, the jungle comes alive. And almost everything is on the Goliath's menu. Its eyes are small and ill-equipped for nighttime hunting, so it relies on its most fine-tuned sense, touch. Just ahead is a gecko. The reptile seems unaware that it's just centimeters away from the world's biggest spider. As the Goliath's enormous fangs sink into the gecko, paralyzing venom is injected into its bloodstream. Very quickly, the gecko's organs shut down, and the venom's enzymes start digesting it from the inside out. Our planet's spiders come with many weird and wonderful adaptations. From hair shooting and walking on water to disco dancing and throwing webs. From the giants and jumpers to the cartwheelers and hunters. These eight-legged, eight-eyed creatures fulfill a critical role in our ecosystem. Over millions of years, they've proved they're not only able to survive Earth's varied and extreme environments, but thrive in them. They may have a bad reputation, but the planet wouldn't be the same without incredible spiders.